Hello there and welcome to Andre Plays Unreal. Well, not exactly. In this video, I'm not going to be playing Unreal per se. I'm more going to be discussing Unreal and showing off Unreal. In this extra video or bonus video, I'm going to be discussing and showing off basically the assets of Unreal that I haven't really talked about yet, or that you haven't really seen before. So I've made videos of me playing through the original campaign of Unreal and videos of me playing through Return to Napali. And in those videos you would have seen all the maps and weapons and items and monsters that Unreal has to offer. However, there are actually some other assets in the game's code that are not included in the main campaigns. So some of this stuff was in the game's code from the very beginning. When Unreal was released, you could actually summon extra weapons or extra monsters, but however, they didn't appear in the game. Like they were part of, they were like on the part of the data, part of the actual Unreal CD, but they didn't actually appear as part of the campaigns. Other stuff I want to talk about is stuff that was actually removed from Unreal, so it was there during the development of Unreal. However, it was removed at some point, and in the community-made 227 patch, it was actually put back into the game's code, put back into the game. So it's stuff that I guess they were like thinking of putting in part of their designing ideas, but they didn't make the cut. But in part of this extra patch, as part of this community-made patch, they restored that functionality. Because as I've said before, Unreal has a lot of cut content, stuff that they wanted to put in the game but didn't actually put in the game. Lastly, there's also some stuff here that I'm going to show you that actually only appears in deathmatch maps or bot match maps that I'm putting here for the sake of completeness because it's not part of the two campaigns that I've shown you so far. Anyway, without much further ado, let us look at some of this stuff, some of these assets. So the first thing I want to share is some stuff that you have seen before but that I haven't really talked about yet. So let us go open Unreal, open the map called Unreal. What is this map? And Unreal is just the introductory fly through the castle map. So yeah, I mean, I've talked about this before, well, not really, you've seen it before though. When I first got into the game, when I first opened Unreal, this is what you see when you get into the game. So this map is basically just the opening title scene map, you know, where you just fly around the gnarly castle and enter the world of Unreal. Let me just let it play through. So that is the map Unreal, just the opening sort of title screen. That's the word. That's how you call it, a title screen. Next up, we have Upack. Open Upack. This is a very similar title screen, but this is the title screen for the DLC Return to Napali. See at the bottom, it says Return to Napali rather than Unreal, and we are flying through another gnarly castle. The gnarly castle that features as the final map of Return to Napali. So yeah, just flying around here. It's a very similar sort of thing. Just basically something that when you open the game, instead of just giving you a title screen, instead of just giving you just like a menu saying Unreal, it gives you like a bit of a visual taste of what's to come. Because this was very impressive for its time. These title screens actually flying through this rich 3D environment with dynamic lighting and impressive graphics for the 90s. But yeah. Next up, I want to show you UGCredits. I've actually shown this map before when I opened it at the end of my Return to Napali playthrough. But I'll just show it again. This map just sort of runs through the credits of Unreal, so you can sort of see all of the people who made Unreal. Because the thing with this map is that it never actually appears naturally in the game. Like, you can play through all of Unreal, all of Return to Napali, and this map itself never opens. It doesn't arise naturally in the gameplay. So in order to actually see it, you have to actually explicitly, manually open it through a command to watch the credits. Let me just let it play for a bit. Just to give give the people some credit, so you know you can see who made the game and everything. But yeah, as you can see in Unreal, everything is a map. Like, even the opening title screens and the credit scenes are basically all maps. Everything is all basically just how Unreal does things. Does it start again? Yep, and it starts again. Interesting fact, if you actually click Help and click About Unreal, you see another version of the credits. This is like an actual, more like an in-game menu credits that shows off the, yeah, who made the game and everything. Okay, that was UGCredits. Next map I'm showing you is OpenEntry. So this map is called Entry, and it is basically, it's sort of like the waiting map when you play online. So when you play Unreal Online, while you're waiting for the server to load, while you're waiting to download all the assets to like join a new server when you're playing online, the game, rather than just leave you in a menu or leave you in the title screen, the game decides to put you in this map here, where you can basically see your avatar. You're in like a little prison cell, there's like a little toilet here. You can shoot. You can't really do much. It's pretty just this enclosed area. You're in a jail cell and there's like a room outside, but there's nothing here in this map. It's a very small map. It's a very simple map. But the idea is it just puts you somewhere where you can walk around and just do something while you're waiting for the online servers to load. And this map Entry came with the original Unreal. So this has been in Unreal from the beginning. However, when the 2.2.7 patch came along, the patch makers thought, wouldn't it be interesting if we sort of make a better version of Unreal? If we make a sort of upgraded, you know, Entry map, as it not better version of Unreal, so a better version of Entry. This map is called Entry. So they thought, wouldn't it be good if we made a better version of the Entry map, like an upgraded Entry map, so that, you know, with more special effects, with more, something a bit more interesting. So they made EntryII. OpenEntry 2. So once again, we're in front of a mirror, but now we have a bed and a force field with some fancy effects. You can see a Scar walking down the halls, monitoring the halls. You can see a mercenary in one of the cells and a brute in one of the cells. So it's a bit, once again, it's an entry map. So it's just there to sort of basically be like, while you're disconnected from the online servers, just to give you something to do, something to be in, something to see your avatar and just, yeah. But oh, and a big brute also walking around. Or be a behemoth, actually. It's a behemoth. But yeah, you get the idea. It's just something a bit more fancy with a bit more special effects, just to show off the new 2.2.7 patch. Sometimes there are also sound effects, like you hear Scar growling and Scar. What's Scar gonna do? Is he gonna do a taunt at me? Yeah, he's gonna do a taunt at me. Okay, cool. Then they decided to make EntryIII for the 2.2.7K patch, and this is this scene that you've already seen, that I already showed you in the beginning. EntryIII is basically just this rather than it being like a map you can actually walk around in and interact with, it is kind of like a title screen, but it's a really fancy title screen with fancy 227 fire effects and 227 lighting effects, and it's just basically showing off the 227 patch, showing off how cool and how good graphics Unreal can really be. So that is EntryIII. Next up we have Benchmark. This is a map that was added in 227 that basically runs you through the Unreal map, runs you through the opening title screen, but puts in a whole lot of extra things to basically make the game run slow. The idea of Benchmark is it's a test map that you can run if you want to see sort of like, can my computer handle Unreal with a lot of stuff in the map? So it's designed to like test your frame rate, so you can put on, you can go stat FPS. Does it not work? What am I thinking of? Is it not stat FPS? I could have sworn it was stat FPS. Okay, I'm not sure what it is. There's some command you can put in to make it show you your frames per second. I thought it was stat FPS. Okay, I must have got it wrong. Either way, you can show the command you put in to show your frames per second on screen, so you can test to see your frame rate, see if your Unreal is running slow. My Unreal is running fine. It's handling the benchmark all completely fine. Next up we have Gateway. Now Gateway is a bit more interesting than the others. Opening the Gateway by Shane Caudle. So the Gateway is a whole big map that you can walk around in. The idea of Gateway was that, what's in here? In here we have this room with this power generator. Here's a control screen. Here we are. We see a spaceship outside. We see a big planet and a moon. Maybe that's Napali, or maybe it's one of the moons of Napali. I'm not sure. I don't know what it is. Just a planet, moon, spaceships. So the deal with this map is that this map was originally going to. So when you play online, in the actual in the release version of Unreal, well, it's actually a bit of a complicated thing. In the actual release version of Unreal, originally, you logged onto a GameSpy server, and it had its own interface for joining GameSpy, which is a long defunct internet sort of service that allowed you to play games with other people online, or like they hosted different servers sort of thing. I don't know exactly what it was, but it was this thing that that came with the original Unreal, that was popular in the 90s, that like no one has used in like 20 years or pretty much, you know. But in the modern Unreal, as in Unreal Gold with, or at least Unreal Gold and later patches of Unreal Gold, including the 227 patch, to play online you simply go multiplayer, yeah, whatever, and you simply join a server, of which there are still some servers online. If it loads, yeah, still a few players, even though it's mostly abandoned. Still a lot of servers, still a few players. But either way you join, it's basically, the idea is going to the server is like, you open it up in a menu. However, the original idea, or one original idea they had, was to actually make it so that to join a server, you went to a map, and from this map you could actually go through teleporters to other servers. So this is kind of like their, where are we? Yep, we've been around here. Okay, let me walk around through here. So this was kind of like their idea, that instead that maybe make a teleporter, it doesn't lead anywhere, it's just there for show. But the idea was basically to make effectively a hub map, to effectively make one big map with a bunch of teleporters in it that you could explore, and you could jump in different teleporters, and the different teleporters would take you to different servers or to different maps. So it was this idea they had, and this was part of the game from the very beginning. Like, As in, when Unreal was originally released in 1998, it contained this map. And nobody knew what it was meant to be for. I guess it was just this map with a bunch of... You're on a spaceship, I guess. And... there's a bunch of doors. And a bunch of teleporters. Or at least things that look like teleporters, but don't actually lead anywhere. More teleporters, white teleporters this time. Let's head upstairs. Pool of water down there, and some more teleporters here. What's in here? This is the main, another upstairs room. I mean, it's a pretty like finished map, as in like it's got sound effects, it's got movers, it's pretty like complete. It doesn't have an end. This map doesn't actually end anywhere, so it's sort of a bit like a deathmatch map in that sense, in that it's just one enclosed space, rather than a map that has like that takes you to another map. But yeah, this is pretty much it. 8 teleporters, and yeah, it was designed to basically be like, you know, you could maybe for like map makers to put. Maybe for map makers to put links to other servers in the teleporters, or to other maps in the teleporters. So you could, instead of joining the server through a menu, you could go to this map and you could say, I want to join this server today, and you jump in the teleporter and it takes you to that server. So it was a cool idea, one of many ideas they had for Unreal that they cut and did not put in the final game. Okay, now to show you some of these was it net stat FPS? No, it wasn't that either. Okay, I can't remember what the command was to see the frames per second. That's a shame. Okay, now to was it FPS stat? FPS stat? I don't think so. I'm not sure. Whatever, it doesn't matter. Okay, now to show off some of the items that did not make it to the final game. Let me just open Nyleve just to get a nice map. And let us go kill pawns, just to kill all monsters. This is just Nyleve Falls. I just want to be somewhere nice so you to show off everything. Beautiful music as always. Cool. And a pool of water here. Okay, so the first thing I want to show you is called the QuadShot. If we go summon QuadShot, we see this weapon that looks like, I mean, it's a weapon, but it's not. But you would be like, wait a second, this weapon wasn't in Unreal. What is this? You know, you haven't seen it so far in Unreal. But what's interesting is you can actually pick it up and it works, or at least it works in the 227K patch. This weapon was in Unreal from the beginning. However, in the release version of Unreal, it didn't work. So in like the version of Unreal that without the 227K patch, you could summon the QuadShot, you could go summon QuadShot, and you could see it. You could see the exterior model. But when you picked it up, it didn't actually show you a gun. It just showed you this big black cross on the screen, and it didn't work. It was very glitchy. It didn't, like, it had no player holding that model, and it didn't fire, and it just wasn't working. However, for the 227K patch, they actually fixed it up and made it so that it actually works as it was originally intended before they cut it from the game. When you do primary fire, it shoots a shotgun blast. When you do alternate fire, it loads up to 4 shotgun blasts. That loads them up in the barrel, and then when you click shoot, it blows them all out at once. Shot, load, and do a whole big shot. So I can go summon Star Warrior. Where'd he go? You get the idea, it's a shotgun. So Unreal was originally going to have a shotgun in it as one of its weapons, but they eventually decided to use the flat cannon instead. So I guess if you actually watch some very old videos of the Unreal Alpha, like back in 1995, like when they were still very, very early in development, you can see they had the idea of the automag, and they had the idea of the QuadShot. The QuadShot was part of the Unreal game design from a very, very early point. However, at some point, the QuadShot was removed from the game, or at least they effectively removed it from the game, but they still kept the item in the game as like a summonable item for whatever reason. So you could still summon the item, it just didn't work. But they removed the actual working gun from the game and replaced it with a flat cannon. The flat cannon became the shotgun of Unreal, but like I said, the 227 patch puts the QuadShot back in the game. Next, we have the UTranslocator. UTranslocator. Those of you who play Unreal Tournament would be familiar with the Translocator from Unreal Tournament, but few people know the Translocator was originally an idea they had for the original Unreal. The Translocator was basically, the idea was it would be this, so primary fire is a thing you throw the little Translocator module, and alternate fire teleports you to where the module is. You can throw it up here, and teleport. Alternate fire just does nothing when you haven't thrown one. Well, I guess if you click primary fire after you've already thrown one, you take it back. So it's like you've thrown one, you take it back, or you can throw one and teleport. So yeah, you can actually see in some early betas or early alphas of Unreal, they actually have this gun working, and it's a teleportation gun, it's a Translocator gun. However, for whatever reason, they decided not to include it in the final game, and they removed it from Unreal in the final release. So it's simply not part of the game. It's not even part of the code in the release version of Unreal. However, in the 227K patch, they patched it back into the game, put it back into the game, so you can actually see this early version of the Translocator. And as I said, in Unreal Tournament 99, they actually completely remade the Translocator, made it look very different, but they put the Translocator gun in the game for like things like capture the flag, and it's a part of Unreal Tournament. Next we have the PeaceMaker. Summon PeaceMaker. The PeaceMaker is a bit of a weird one. Basically, you launch it with left click, and then it basically just launches rockets. These are heat-seeking rockets. So if we summon a Nyleve, for instance, and we go summon PeaceMaker, we put it down here. It will launch, and the rockets will heat seek the Nyleve, basically. If there are monsters around, the rockets will heat seek the monster. If you hold down primary fire, a timer appears, and you can put it on delayed fire. I don't know how many seconds it lasts. 10 maybe? Oh, it automatically lasts after 10. It automatically launches after 10. But you can release it after only 5, and then it will wait for 5 seconds before deploying. Oh, whoopsie, the rocket attacked me. Open Nyleve again. Claw. No, not claw. Kill spawn. What was it? Kill pawns. So yeah, that was the PeaceMaker. You can also do alternate fire. If I go summon PeaceMaker, alternate fire, it also has a timer if I hold it down. But basically, when you release it, instead of deploying rockets, it just explodes. I guess I see why they removed it from the game, because it's not a very useful sort of weapon. It's like, it only really works for like ambushes or something, and it's kind of hard to use. It's a bit finicky, you know. It's kind of like, by the time you deploy it, monsters are probably already attacking you and killing you. It's not the most efficient weapon, so I can sort of see why they removed it. But yeah, they removed this from the game. It appeared in some alphas or some betas, removed from the game, but then it was put back in the 227 patch. Next, we have the VoiceBox. I've actually already spoken about the VoiceBox, because the VoiceBox does appear in the release version of Unreal, only in one place. It appears behind one particular column in the first level, in the first map of Radjagar Mine. You can find a VoiceBox. So they left it in the game in one spot, but aside from that, it's effectively not in the game. And the VoiceBox is another item that was intended to do something, but didn't really make the final cut. Or at least, the item is in the release version of Unreal. You can summon VoiceBoxes and stuff. They do appear, one appears in Unreal, but it doesn't do anything useful for the player. So its functionality was something that they had an idea for, but they decided not to really implement it in the game, just like so many features. So what the VoiceBox does is when you deploy it, it basically makes shooting noises. I guess the idea was it could be used to distract enemies. You know, you could throw a VoiceBox, run behind a rock, enemies would come rushing in, enemies would hear it come rushing in, and then you could basically distract them and shoot them, you know? So that was the intention behind it, but it doesn't actually work. It doesn't work on monsters, it doesn't work on bots, it doesn't work on anyone. It's just an item that they had an idea for and kept it in the game, but doesn't do anything interesting. Oh, I forgot something I forgot to show you with the QuadShot. The QuadShot ammo is called shells. So if we go summon shells, this is what QuadShot ammo looks like. If I pick it up, this is ammo for the QuadShot. So if I go now, summon QuadShot, I have more ammo for it. One reason why I'm showing you this stuff is because in some of the fan-made, the community-made maps, they include some stuff like the QuadShot and these weapons, these extra weapons and stuff, and these items. So the reason why I want to show you this stuff is so then, when I play through the community-made Unreal content, and you suddenly see this weapon, this QuadShot there, instead of thinking, wow, did this creator make the QuadShot? Or like, where did this QuadShot come from? Like, you've never seen it before, you know? Instead you'll know, okay, this was part of the original Unreal, but it was, you know, cut content from the game. Next up we have the Dampener. The Dampener actually is in Unreal, but it's not in any of the single player campaigns. Instead, it only appears in bot match maps, in deathmatch maps. What the Dampener does basically, is it basically makes your weapons quieter. So, here's the QuadShot, it makes a loud noise. If you turn on the Dampener, your weapons make basically no noise, or very little noise. It doesn't, if you pick up the automag, your weapons are a lot quieter. it doesn't, once again, it doesn't do anything meaningful in gameplay. Like, it doesn't affect monsters, it doesn't affect bots. So monsters can still notice you when you shoot, bots still notice you when you shoot. It doesn't have any in-game effect against, like, at least in single player Unreal. However, it is good online against other humans. When you play online multiplayer, then yeah, it makes your guns make less noise. And I guess that was the intention, you know, so that when you play online multiplayer with other humans, then they don't notice where you're shooting from because your guns make less noise. But in terms of the actual game, it doesn't really do much. Next up, we have an item that was specifically from Return to Napali. So we have to type summon Upack first, because Upack is a sort of like a prefix that you need for all Return to Napali specific items. UPak.Cloak. This item is the cloaking device. This appears in some Return to Napali deathmatch maps. And what it does is it basically makes you semi-invisible and you jump really high. So is it going to turn off? There we go. So if we go behind U1, actually, never mind. I don't have to do that. I was gonna type behind U1, but you can actually just. I forgot that I have a button set to switch from behind U1 to behind U0. I actually have a button already that does that. If you go behind U1 and you turn on the cloak, you're now cloaked. So you're like semi-invisible. And you have good air movement, good jumping. So it's basically a combination of the invisibility and the jump boots in one sort of item. As I said, it's specific to the DLC Return to Napali. And yeah. Not really that interesting. Just makes it harder for the enemy to see you in deathmatch. It's a deathmatch specific item. It doesn't actually appear. It does not appear in the single-player campaign Return to Napali. Rather, it's just for deathmatch. So when you're playing online, you can have a bit of maneuverability and make it harder for other players to see you. And it's interesting, the invisibility in Unreal Tournament 1999 actually has this effect more than total invisibility. Rather than making you completely invisible, like the invisibility in Unreal does, the invisibility in Unreal Tournament 99 makes you semi-invisible. Like this sort of effect, but it doesn't have the jump effect. It just makes you sort of semi-see-through. Okay, that's it. What next? Now to show you some extra items that were added in 227 patch. So we have Woodruff. Did that not work? Where is it? Do I not? There we go. Oh, it has to grow. I forgot it has to grow. Okay, so to sort of show off, basically, there were some extra bot match maps in the 227K patch, or not even in 227K, just in 227 in general. And basically, to show off, oh, we've got these new fancy 227 maps with 227 special effects. They decided to include a few extra items to sort of show off the aesthetic of these maps. And one of these items is Woodruff. Woodruff is basically, it's a healing item. So you can pick it up. You got some Master of the Woods plus 5 health. So it's basically just a little flower that gives you healing. We can also summon WoodruffSchool, which summons the whole cluster of Woodruffs, which you pick up for 20 health. The single Woodruff only gives you 5. We also have summon WoodruffSeeds, which is this little seeds which you can activate to grow a Woodruff. Does it grow? There it grows, okay. There you go, okay, cool. So that is a thing specific to the 227 patch. Also in the 2.7 patch, they added something called MiniGunSentry. This is basically this little, I guess, portable machine gun thing. It's not a weapon, it's an item. You got an automatic sentry gun. So if you activate it, it basically just sits here, and any monster that that gets in the way, so if we go summon root, this thing, so any monster that appears in its line of sight, only in its line of sight, it basically shoots and guns down. So it's like basically like a deployable little automatic thing that shoots monsters for you. Does it shoot gnarly actually? Let me see if it shoots gnarly. It does shoot gnarly. So it sort of shoots everything really. Once again, it's used in some fan-made, community-made maps, but it's not part of any. I don't think it's part of any. It's part of any of the 227 bottom match maps, but it might be. I'm not actually sure. Another thing I want to show you that I have talked about before is the grab mechanic. So if we summon a book, here's the book. You've seen books before. It's nothing fancy. Originally, like in Unreal, they originally had the idea of having a interactive button. So like a button that you click that interacts with things. But in the actual release version, they don't implement that in the gameplay. Like to open doors, you just walk into a door. To activate buttons, you just walk into a button. Everything you just walk into. Any item to pick up, you walk over it. Any door to open, you walk into it. Any button to activate, you walk into it. So there's no actual interact button. However, they had the idea of having a button that allowed you to interact with things, and it's still in the code of the final game. And if you press it while you're next to a book, you actually... Why is it not working? Why is it not working? There we go. You actually pick up the book, and you can actually grab the book. I keep pressing Feigndeath by accident. Why can't I pick it up again? There we go. So yeah, they had a whole mechanic. I think you can also grab little crates, like little ones, like not these ones. Not these ones, I don't think, but like little crates, like this, but a lot smaller. So yeah, that's basically showing off the grab mechanic that they had in the game. Once again, a few map authors do something with it, I think, but not many do. It's just basically a forgotten mechanic of Unreal. By the way, that button that they're pressing to make my weapons go away, that is Feigndeath. Another unused mechanic in Unreal. If you click a button, if you click F, you basically... So the button, by the way, the button for grab is G. If you click F, you basically Feigndeath. You basically lie down on the floor and pretend to be dead, and you put away your weapon, and you can get up, and you have your weapon again. But yeah, you can just basically press F, you lie down on the floor. Oh, that thing explodes after a minute or so. Okay, cool. Yeah, it doesn't do anything in the final game. Like this, feigning death has been a part of Unreal from the very beginning, as has grabbing. But it doesn't. Once again, it's another unused mechanic. It doesn't do anything. Like if you're feigning death, monsters still. If a monster still comes across you, they still notice you. They still attack you. They still kill you. It doesn't fool monsters. It doesn't fool bots. I mean, I guess it might fool some people online, but like it doesn't do anything meaningful in the game. It's just once again another unused mechanic. Okay, time to look at some monsters now. So there's actually one monster that is part of the game's part of the game's files, part of the game's basically it was in the game from the very beginning, but it never actually appeared in the campaigns. You saw, I mentioned the giant manta, by the way. The giant manta that does not appear anywhere in the original Unreal, but it does appear in Return to Napani. But no, I'm talking here about the Squid. If we summon a Squid, this Squid is a monster that is fully working, fully in the game's code. Like it's a completely working monster from the very beginning, but they just never put it in anywhere in Unreal or Return to Napani. So you see this monster a lot in fan-made, community-made maps. So it's common there. But yeah, it's completely working Squid, but for whatever reason, just they decided to remove all instances of it in the actual released games. Squiddy! Yep, that's a squid, alright. That's basically it, nothing too fancy. Also, there are a couple of monsters that were part of the alphas of Unreal. They were in the alphas of Unreal, but they were removed from the game, and then in the 227 patch, they were put back into the game. One of these is the Chameleon. If we go summon Chameleon, we see this little creature here. This guy is not actually hostile. He sort of runs around, you can shoot him. He runs up walls. Does he die? Okay, I killed him. So the idea behind wait a second, let me get up here. The idea behind chameleons was that they were a non-hostile creature that just wandered around our party, and if you shot them, they would drop an item called a chameleon heart. And when you picked up a chameleon heart, it was an item that made you invisible. So that was how they were originally going to implement invisibility. You picked up a chameleon heart and it made you invisible. However, eventually they decided to just make the invisibility like an item, its own item, more like an artificial item, like a Scar-made technology item, rather than some sort of natural chameleon heart. And they got rid of the chameleon. So the Chameleon was not in the release version of Unreal, it was not in the game at all, but it was in the alphas. You can see it in some of the alpha videos, and the 227 patch put it back into the game. But it doesn't drop the heart. There's no Chameleon heart item though in the 227 patch. It's just the monster, the Chameleon, is in the game files. Next we have the Hawk. Does the Hawk shoot me? Okay, he attacks me, but does he have like a long range fire? No, he doesn't. That was a Hawk. I guess it's an early alpha idea of a monster. It probably became the Manta. I'm guessing the Manta sort of evolved from the original ideas of the Hawk. But yeah, you can still, in the 227 packs, they put the Hawk back in, and you can summon a Hawk and use them in your game. There's actually a bunch of other monsters that are in the Unreal Alpha that they did not put in the 227 packs. Like there's a gargoyle and a dragon, and even like in some very early Unreal Alphas, there's like a wizard. There were these wizard creatures that sort of became the Nyleve over time. And there are a bunch of, there's like a dragon and a gargoyle, and you can see in some fan-made maps, they actually do include these monsters, the gargoyle or the dragon or the hawk or the chameleon or whatever. But yeah, in the 227 packs they don't put in the dragon or the gargoyle. Okay, lastly, I just want to show you a couple of random decorations and stuff. We have cannon. This is a cannon that is part of the Unreal game, like part of the Unreal game files. This is there from the very, this isn't a 227 thing, this is there from the very beginning. You could summon this cannon. What does it do? Who knows? It's just, it never appears in, it does not appear in Unreal or Return to Napali, but it's still there in the files. And similarly, you can go summon HugeCannon to summon its bigger brother. A big cannon. Doesn't do anything. You know those cryopods from the Star mothership? We saw them like sitting up, you know, and I mentioned, oh, these are cryopods. So we could remember we could hear breathing coming from within them. But if you actually go summon CryoPod, wait a second, we actually see an animation. If you go summon CryoPod, an animation of them closing, and they're actually like walks. So this implies, were you meant to get in a cryopod at one point? Were the monster meant to get out of a cryopod at one point? Did they have the idea of making them somehow interactive or making a monster come out of these pods? Maybe it was some idea they had they didn't put in the final game. Next, we go summon IntroShip. This is a spaceship that does not appear anywhere in the game. The only place it appears is in Gateway. Remember I showed you Gateway just a couple of minutes ago? So we see these ships flying outside Gateway, but other than that, they do not appear anywhere in the game. So just more cut content, stuff that was left in the game files, but doesn't actually appear in Unreal or Return to Napali. FlagB, a flag. It sort of looks like the flag of Japan, except kind of blue tinted. But yeah, a flag that does not appear anywhere in Unreal or Return to Napali, but still there in the game files. And lastly, something very strange from Return to Napali. If we go summon UPak.Copter, we see this gnarly, and then he starts spinning. Okay, I'll do it inside the house so it doesn't go so high. And he just spins like a helicopter. I have no idea what this was for, why this is part of the game, and what they were trying to do with this, no idea, but it's in the game files, so yeah. Anyway, that's all I wanted to show you today. Thank you very much for watching. I'll probably make some more bonus videos with some other stuff I want to sort of just go through, and hopefully eventually also I will play through my Unreal bot match videos to actually show you some, sorry, did I say bot match twice? I mean, I'll show you some extra videos of me sort of talking about some other stuff I want to talk through, and eventually, well not eventually, probably pretty soon, probably maybe in like, I don't know when, but probably pretty soon, I'll play through and Andre plays the Unreal Gold bot match videos, sort of show off the bot match maps. Anyway, thank you for watching and I'll see you later, bye!